and is captioned, "For the sake of our party, caution." Gentlemen of the press, we call on you here today to further clarify the ongoing imbroglio in our party, the PDP. The PDP in the last 3 days, and to state unequivocally that these acts of vituperations against our party's corporate existence are not amusing, but condemnable. This is therefore a clarion call to all concerned to see to it that the PDP is not destroyed due to avoidable conflicts. To buttress America's former president, J.F. Kennedy, who said, "Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other." Consequently, to improve on our learning process of party leadership and administration, we must ensure that certain actions are not guided by sentiments or personal interest, but in compliance with the provisions of the party's constitution and other extant guidelines that interpret all its intent and purposes. Before I proceed further, please recall that we interacted in this same NWC hall last Friday, being 11th of October 2024, on my assumption of office as the Acting National Publicity Secretary, alongside my colleague, Barrister Okechukwu Osoha, as the Acting National Legal Advisor, respectively. As we did explain that day, and in addition to the press statement released the previous day, the development in line with the decision of the 593rd NWC meeting held on the 10th of October 2024 in this NWC hall of our great party's National Secretariat. For emphasis, the NWC decision had arisen following the temporary suspension of National Publicity Secretary, my colleague Honorable Debo Ologunagba, and the National Legal Advisor, Kamaldeen Ajibade SAN, to allow the four-man NWC investigation committee set up under the chairmanship of Deputy National Chairman South, His Excellency Ambassador Taufik Arapaja, to freely investigate the allegations of abuse of office and insubordination leveled against the duo. Other members of the committee are Deputy National Secretary, Honorable Architect Setonji Koshiodo, the National Treasurer, Honorable Yayari Ahmed, and the National Auditor, Sir Daniel Obi Okechukwu. Is this the first of such incident? Gentlemen, a resounding no. That was not the first time it will happen. For the record, both the NWC affected officers are senior lawyers who should know better on how to preserve sanctity of the organization and have equally participated in the suspension of some of their NWC colleagues in the past. So why kill our great party? Excuse me. So why kill our great party due to collective decision of your colleagues against your actions instead of availing yourselves of the investigation committee's window to be exonerated or otherwise? For the avoidance of doubt, let me state at this juncture that the essence of this press briefing is not to delve into the reasons behind the suspension of the duo, on whether it is right or wrong, but to call for restraint in the interest of our great party, the PDP, which is the major opposition party in Nigeria and the hope of Nigerians for a better tomorrow in view of the APC strangulating government nationwide. It is expedient to clear certain notions and misinformation trending on this issue. Gentlemen of the press, in the interest of our great party's teaming members, supporters, and the general public who may have been misinformed about the situation, please do help us to inform truthfully what the matter is. Let all concerned know that the Deputy National Publicity Secretary, my humble self, now Acting National Publicity Secretary, and the Deputy National Advisor and now Acting National Legal Advisor assumed office following the decision of the NWC. And it is in line with the PDP's Constitution 2017 as amended, following the absence of our substantive officers. It is made abundantly clear on Section 42 and Section 42, subsection 2. It is therefore distasteful for a leader or leaders who ought to inform the uninformed, instead goes ahead to misinform on a national television that our assumption of office is unconstitutional and does not exist. I ask you, why? Furthermore, we are constrained to express our utter disgust and disappointment in our colleagues' resort to motor park approach to a mere suspension aimed at providing them with the opportunity to clear themselves of certain allegations leveled against them. Although we have detailed knowledge of the drummers, and this is in caps, the drummers, the masquerades should have been guided in their dance steps to avoid stripping themselves naked on the stage. In the face of the reckless violation of a subsisting court order, therefore, we are hereby left with no option but to deploy the services of security agencies in the enforcement of the rule of law. To this end, I want to very respectfully commend the intervention of the chairman of the BOT, chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, and other well-meaning leaders of the party on the need to seek amicable resolution soonest. Long live the PDP, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and long live the distinguished members of the PEN. Thank you very much. That was a brilliant question. To start with, we wanted to ignore these desperate tendencies because we thought the purported appointed chairman will not, or will come all out less than 48 hours after the so-called publication or declaration or appointment to denounce that appointment and distance himself from such. Because as a very senior member of this party, we thought he would be guided. No national chairman throughout history has assumed that role in appointment, through appointment. It's always been through the convention or like the current one we have, through succession. And of course, no one can take decision against that, not just because there's a subsisting court order, but because that is what is in strict compliance with the extant provisions of our law. And the second leg of your question, which is even more important, as you are hearing this in the media waves, we also are hearing it in the media waves. And that was the reason we allowed it to fly for the last 3 days, more or less 68 hours now. We thought we will give him enough opportunity to come and denounce, distance, and dissociate himself from that so-called appointment. Nobody will see it from the comfort of their room. And in any case, the moment you are said to have taken suspension, you cease to act in whatever capacity you were acting before. And this is not just to do with politics. It is the legal position of law, and that is what obtains statutorily. You have no reason whatsoever to say a word within the period you are on suspension until you have your name cleared of the allegations leveled against you. So whatever the so-called suspenders did is not only null and void, it is strange in the face of law, and it constitutes nothing but the disposition of touts in the motor park. And therefore, nobody also has shown his face, neither the suspended colleague of mine, National Publicity Secretary, nor the legal advisor has came anywhere near the Secretariat for this period. Not also the so-called appointed chairman of the party. The party remained firm and united under Ambassador Umar Ilia Damagum, as provided for by law. Yes, thank you. Well, if I got the first part of your question, it's to do with the drummers. Without saying that will not be mentioned just yet, we may get to the level where that will come. But because we have an effort to reconcile the feuding parties, and this time not between Ambassador Umar Ilia Damagum and others in his role, no, but reconciliation generally within the party, which had been ongoing before this drama ensued this last few days. So I should be taken clearly here. There's no effort to reconcile Ambassador Umar Ilia Damagum and the so-called chairman appointed. That's not what I said. I said there had been an ongoing reconciliation effort. So without prejudice to that reconciliation, we are taking effort to ensure that the position of Ambassador Umarila Damagum is not brought into, disrepute by anybody within or outside. But of course, particular reference to what you ask, the drummers are external, they are not internal, but they are indeed members of the party, and they are in privileged quarters, and they are the ones sponsoring these mischief makers, but it will end the way it has started, without any result. Thank you. To the best of our knowledge, all of the governors are united, all of the governors are speaking in common front. If you say some of you are privileged to some information, it is to that extent that you got the information. But to the best of our knowledge as a party, we count on the support of each and every one of our 13 governors, and we are speaking in unison, and we are united, we are coherent, and we are decisive to confront the common enemy, which is the inept and clueless APC-led Tinubu federal government.
Good morning, everyone.
Because we are guided by law, there is a subsisting court order, and any contempt of court order does not require any persuasion from us for its enforcement. The law has provided for itself sufficient mechanism for ensuring that violators of orders are dealt with strictly in compliance with the law. So of course we are aware the security agencies are themselves taking action in that regard without even our prompting. So that's exactly what I meant. By the way, where is the purported chairman? Where is he at the moment? He has not shown his face, he has been in hiding. Even where the speech was said to be delivered, we cannot trace it. We have looked for it outside and inside. We couldn't find any. And all of the lies bandied from the pit of hell have themselves not been substantiated from any source. So as a party, we are struggling as hard as you can imagine, to find where all of those lies emanated from. And we are taking it for what it is. But for the purpose of these gullible Nigerians who look up to PDP, there's the need for us to intervene in the manner we are doing now. And with your support, we're going to nip it in the bud. Thank you. If I will start with your second question, there shall be the provision of the Constitution here, which I will give you, the Deputy National Publicity Secretary. There shall be a Deputy National Publicity Secretary who shall assist the National Publicity Secretary in the discharge of his or her duties and shall deputize for him in his absence. This is a provision of the Constitution of the PDP 2017 as amended. And you'll be entitled to a copy. And it might just be a nomenclature. You do not require an office in acting capacity. As I speak with you, the acting national chairman is maintaining the office that he has occupied since his election. He has not moved to the office of the substantive national chairman, Yochia Ayu. And he's been referred to categorically, even though clearly spelled out in our constitution, as the acting national chairman. So the role that you play is what has enabled you to enjoy the name acting. But I was elected as the Deputy National Publicity of the Secretary, a role that I'm comfortable to discharge. So either way, the nomenclature does not stop me from taking charge and performing my constitutional duty, even as the Deputy National Publicity Secretary. If that answers Mary Chinga for the second question. The first question has to do with Seyi Makinde's absence in the 9 governors purported to have met. There was no such meeting of any 9 governors. In some texts, they said the governors met virtually. In some others, they said that they convened somewhere. And Seyi Makinde, for the record, had commissioning, about 3 of them to do in Ibadan. And he flew into Lagos. He flew into Kaduna from there and had to fly back to Lagos same day. And he couldn't come to Abuja for the so-called meeting that was said to have held. But the governors did not hold any meeting, not virtually, not physically. So it was a lie concocted by the agents of doom, and it was a lie from the pit of hell. This is the last leg of your questions. We didn't get to hear the part of announcement of any appointment rather of any replacing national chairman until we obtained that court order on Friday. When we convened here, there was no such appointment of Yayari as a replacement to Damagum by anyone. And the court order was presented here, I recall very vividly, by Madam Chinwe, our director. She said that there's a court order, which I knew anyways before she brought it to our notice. But it was not in my possession as at the time I was addressing you on Friday. And by which time, the so-called impostor was not appointed. So, and I recall a question, I won't remember exactly what it was, but I said it was sub judice because we were expecting. I was trying to be evasive. But suddenly, Madam brought the confirmation here to your notice that there was a court order. At that time, there was no such appointment. And therefore, the position of law is that since there's a court order and an action is taken in violation of same, the security agencies are duty bound to enforce the rule of law for contempt of court. And therefore, without our prompting, the actions will be meted accordingly. If I get your second question, would you be kind to remind me?
It's about the police, deployment of security. AIT also asked similar questions.
Oh, that's a repetition, please.
You've not responded to that of the AIT as well.
Which is to do?
Are you asking police to go after them, or what is your plan?
I have said this, and I think Madam corroborated it while I was saying so. I said that the system has sufficient mechanism to enforce itself. If you have an order and it's violated, you do not even require our enforcement or our calling on them to act accordingly. They will take measures to ensure that we distance ourselves from such abuses of our legal processes, so that we can create a society that is sane and civil. Yes.
Police, that's now about the chairman. Suspended chairman. The chairman is around, sir. Your friend is around.
Oh, he's back? Is he back?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell him I asked after him?
No, the chairman is around.
Otherwise, I say why?
Why would I go and do otherwise? We are here. You are our friends. You are here. We are because if I do otherwise, by the time you settle,